Once I'm back, I'm sorry this video is coming out a little late. My normal Monday video, I was at work, didn't really have time to record. I usually record it the day before, but I was also at work for a full shift that day, which was the only shift, so I was really tired, and so I'm really sorry about that. But this will be out today, very soon. Though, if you're watching it, it's already out, so just forget I said that part. Let's talk about the Buffalo Sabres. I know this is a big series, but it's really just me giving my opinion on stuff. If you guys want me to give my opinion on something, please put it down in the comments. I'm honestly probably running out of a lot of my ideas. So if you guys want me to do a video, give my opinion on it, and then let's talk about the series, please put that down in the comments, as well as debate anything we really say here. So with that being said, let's get into the video. Let's talk about the Buffalo Sabres. This team is kind of disappointing. They have Taylor Hall. They have Jack Eichel, the face of the franchise, the guy who went directly behind Connor McDavid, that was actually able to challenge him for number 1 overall, which I think Edmonton made the right choice because McDavid is a fucking beast. I mean, like, it's not even close. McDavid is going to be going down as one of the best hockey players in history. I'd say he's definitely one of the best Oilers in NHL history total. That counts like Wayne Gretzky and all those really good guys. Like Messi, I believe, was on there for a little bit too. That counts everybody. I think it goes Gretzky, McDavid, then anyone else. Like that's my top 2 Edmonton Oilers in like the history of that franchise. This one is gonna be a little bit hard because I like Jonas Hansen. I loved that guy. He was pretty good, and the fact of the matter is, he had a hip surgery while he was in Cincinnati. That ended his season a couple years ago. The very next season, he went on to the AHL and went on to make his NHL debut. So after hip surgery, he got better. He got fucking better. Like after the hip surgery, before like that hip surgery, I kind of ripped on him on my story on accident a little bit. And I was like, hey, yeah, this guy's going to be a bust. I honestly did think he was going to be a bust. And I'm really sorry for that. JJ, if you're watching, please forgive me for that one. I was 100% wrong about you. I love how you've turned your career around since having that surgery. That improved you. I don't know what you did, but like you got to bottle that stuff and sell it, my dude. Very impressive. Very impressive. And it's been a pleasure to watch you come through the Cincinnati organization, because that's a great anomaly to have Mr. Jonas Johansson come through, who spent 2 seasons here. It's kind of sad to see him go. He was traded to Carolina for a 6th round pick, which I think he was a little bit more valuable than that. I think that they undersold him a little bit. I know he's I'm gonna be realistic here. He's a NHL backup caliber goaltender. That's his whole potential. NHL backup. Maybe a little bit less, but I feel like they could have gotten maybe a 4th or 5th rounder for him. He was picked in the 3rd round by Buffalo, so they basically lost value on him in this trade, which I think he was a lot more valuable than what he. I wouldn't say he's 1st round material or 2nd round or even really 3rd rounder. I think that maybe 4 or 5 would probably maybe even be underselling it just a little bit, but I think that would have been a better get. And this is a very unpredictable draft. I'll give it to Buffalo. This is unpredictable. Owen Power is the only real good prospect that I can see having NHL potential. Or in 2020, that draft was stacked, man. There was Lafreniere. There was Lafreniere. There was Byfield, Stutzel, Drysdale. There was a ton. Jack Quinn, who went 8th overall, which I think they reached a little bit for that one. But that shows you how much fucking stacked it was. Like, it's unbelievable how stacked they were in that draft. I don't think there's going to be another draft that stacked for a while, and I think that the 2020 NHL draft will go down in history as one of the best drafts for prospects. I think that even in the 2nd, 3rd round, you could get some maybe a little bit less than like mid first rounder. That's how stacked I believe that draft was. I'm really excited to see what these guys do. Drysdale, he's a defenseman I'm gonna be definitely watching. You know, Lafreniere, yeah, I'm gonna be watching him first overall. Obviously, he's on my radar. Then Jack Quinn, Byfield, Stutzel, like like the 2020 draft. I just feel so strongly that it's gonna be a historic draft for Hall of Fame players. No way else to put it. It's gonna produce a lot of Hall of Fame players, and you can quote me on that 20, 50 down the line, and I 100% think it will stand true. Um, and I also, sorry for the mustache and that stuff. I haven't really had the opportunity to shave for a little bit. I don't have like a razor or anything here, so, and I haven't had time to go to the store. So I'm really sorry as I look kind of scruffed up and unkept. But back to Buffalo. Buffalo. I think that they got a pretty decent guy in Jack Quinn in that draft. I definitely think that they reached for him a little bit. I think that there are some other options on the board that went after, like the Jets, I think picked after them, and they got a really good guy. And obviously, Quinn's in the AHL. You don't really want to see that out of a guy that's eighth overall. But then we do have Cousins, which he's gonna fill very, very well that second line center role in the future, and I believe that he's gonna have that locked down by the end of this 2021. 2020 to 21 NHL season. I think he's gonna lock down that second center role. Mark Stahl, I think that they're gonna trade him. Taylor Hall, I want to see him stay, but honestly, I don't think he's gonna stay in Buffalo. Taylor Hall, I think, is probably either going to be signing elsewhere or we're going to trade him and he's going to sign a huge extension there. Hall, I still am excited that we have Hall, but I was like, yeah, this is going to be a really good year for Buffalo. When we got Hall, you probably can go back on my YouTube channel and find that video that I made about that. I tried out trying to give news that just wasn't my thing, and I feel like this is my thing. So yeah. So Taylor Hall, I don't think he's going to come back. I don't think that number 4 is going to be back next year, sadly. Ristolainen, I think he's towards the end of his growth here. Jake McCabe, I like him. I want him to stay, but I feel like he needs to up his defensive play a little bit. Darlene, I think the same thing. I want him to stay, and I think that he just needs to take a few more steps to show that, yeah, we took him first overall for a reason, and that was a good choice. I don't think he's quite lived up to the potential and the hype that everybody's put around Darlene, and I really want to see that kid succeed. And maybe it's not in Buffalo. Maybe you have to trade him and get him out of here for him to succeed, but I think that Darlene will probably end up doing some really good things. Then there's Michael Hauser, who I watched play, franchise leader in all-time wins for the Cincinnati Cyclones, undrafted, signed by Florida, and I believe he was undrafted in 2012 or something like that. But I really love Michael Hauser. He is always going to be dear to my heart. That number 29 is going to be dear in my heart. He leads my franchise in all-time wins. He's just a likable guy. His mother, she comes to a lot of games, and she supports him a lot. And she's really fun to be around. She's really cool to talk to. And Mama Hauser, if you're seeing this, I miss seeing you at the games. I really do. You're a good person to talk to, especially a hockey mom of a professional player. You don't see that every day. And yeah, Hauser, he's just enjoyable. I'm really excited to hear that he got that NHL deal. And I just love that Buffalo's given him a chance to see. He's on their taxi squad right now, so hopefully he can make the roster and become the backup there and become he gets some starts in and become another Cincinnati and ECHL alum. But overall, I think there's a lot of work that Buffalo can do on the roster. That's just touching a couple of big key name guys. I could name probably a lot, like Middlestat. I think he needs to go. I think that he can be dealt pretty easily for a second, third rounder. I think it's fair for him. Honestly, I just think that this rebuild is not going anywhere. I want to see Buffalo succeed in the future. They have UPL, who I think is going to be a really good goaltender in the future because he is very chill and calm in all situations. Michael Hauser, he's the complete opposite. I watched them both play in Cincinnati. They were a really good tandem. But I think UPL is definitely going to be the future starter of that franchise. He's coming up through the minors, and I like seeing teams go through the minors. more ECHL guys to have under the belt. And I just like seeing those guys that I got to watch be successful in the NHL. Like Michael Lambis, he wasn't as successful, but he's a really good person in general. And he was Cincinnati for a few years. Then we kind of dealt him to Orlando, and that was the end of his time here. So obviously, it's disappointing to see Buffalo losing like that. Like they went on a 11, maybe 17 game losing streak, and they finally fired that coach. I don't think Hauser was going to be the right answer. He'd been out of hockey and into fucking soccer for a number of years, and then we hire him out of nowhere. That was a very stupid move. Pelagula's, I think that they need to take more hands off. Let the GM do its job. Hire the right GM. Take a hands off approach. That's what I think that Buffalo needs to be successful in the future. But also, you have to keep in mind they do have some really good prospects. Honestly, they have, some even just guys coming in through the minors like Jack Quinn, who's getting some time down there. Dylan Cousins, I believe, had a little bit of time. Nobody really big comes to mind, but you kind of get what I'm saying here. I think that they have a bright future, and if they manage it well, I think that they'll be good. Quite obviously, I think that they need to hire a really good coach now. I don't think that they have the time to be able to stick a interim guy in there for the rest of the season. I think that they need to start searching now. Find a guy that fits right, that isn't just a hire out of nowhere. I think that they need to spend as much time as they need to find the right guy, but also I think that they need to be interviewing 2-3 head coaches a freaking day almost to find that right guy, because the fans are getting tired of losing. Everybody's getting tired of losing, and it's kind of embarrassing, honestly. But you also have to look at the other side of that is, it's hard to find a good coach. All the good coaches are kind of, taken right now, to say the least. They're taken. So you just kind of, I guess, gotta hope you get lucky with a good coach. But that's really all I have to say about Buffalo. It's embarrassing, and I will see you guys next time.